Hello, Judge.
Are you?
I'm good. Well, I'll say that. I've got the virus.
That's not good.
Yeah, well, hadn't been bad. First 2 days, felt achy, like I was coming down with the flu. And since then, I've hardly had any symptoms. So it's been okay. At least I can say I got that way.
Yeah, you still don't want it though.
No, sure
All right.
scared the hell out of my
Is,
partner.
is this everybody that's coming?
I think Trish Pyewaits, the defendant, should be on there. He's not real technical, Judge. She was on an iPhone earlier. I'll check with her
More.
real
Let's see. Yeah, I see three more.
quick. Okay.
One of them's a court reporter.
There's
There
Trish.
you go. Now, is this everybody?
Everybody I know of.
Yes, Judge.
All right. And Kate, you're muted right now.
Hello, Judge.
How are you?
Good.
I have I've listened to the 911 recording, and I have watched the first minute and a half of the video. That's my understanding of all I needed to see. We're talking about the stop, is that right?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it's a non-warrant arrest, so the state will have the burden. Did you want to call any witnesses?
Yes, Judge. State calls Officer Hoyt Smurl.
Okay. Officer, if you'll raise your right hand and be sworn, you swear or affirm testimony about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right.
Good morning, Officer. Can you state your name or spell your name for the record, please?
Smurl, S-M-I-R-L.
And how are you employed?
I'm an officer of the Allen Police Department.
Can you give us a brief rundown of your training as a police officer?
I went to the academy and had several months of field training, as well as training classes within that time period as well. Since then.
Okay. Have you had any special training regarding detecting signs that a person is intoxicated from alcohol or drugs?
I have.
Okay, and were you working on March 7th, 2020?
Yes, sir.
Were you dispatched to a possible intoxicated driver that night?
Yes, sir.
Around what time was this?
It was earlier in the evening. I don't remember the exact time.
Okay. What information did you receive from the dispatch?
It was dispatched as a possible intoxicated person with a reporting party following. The reporting party told dispatch, which was relayed to me, that the driver of the vehicle was going 20 to 30 miles an hour, struck a curb and was being honked at other drivers due to them almost striking them.
Okay. Were you able to locate this driver?
Yes, sir, I was.
Did the vehicle match the description of the vehicle in the dispatch notes?
It did. It had the same driver's, the same tag on it as well.
Okay. So what happened whenever you located the car?
When I located the car, it was turning right off of Exchange onto Comanche. I then saw the vehicle make an immediate left onto Rio Grande. While I was driving down Rio Grande, it was all over the road. It was driving going towards the left of the road, and then finally started drifting back towards the right, where it almost struck a curb on the right-hand side. And then approached a stop sign at Rio Grande and Chibolo, at which point it drove past the stop sign and it braked very hard past that stop sign. At which point I initiated my license and conducted a traffic stop for the violation.
Okay. This stop sign, was there an actual white painted line like there is sometimes at stop signs?
There was not.
Okay. Now your report says that that she stopped, or the defendant stopped past the stop line. Is that
Yes.
right?
That she went past the stop sign itself. Even though there's not a line painted on the ground there, she's still supposed to stop before where the stop sign is. So
Okay.
it's not an actual line on the ground.
Okay. So she stops past the stop sign. What happens then?
At which point I activated my emergency lights and conducted a traffic stop.
Okay. Did she pull over after that?
She turned left and came to immediate stop on Chipola.
Did you approach the vehicle at that point?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you make contact with the driver?
I did.
And what was the driver's name?
Her first name is Patricia.
Do you recognize the driver in this hearing today?
Possibly. I'm so far away from the screen, I can't really see.
Would you mind getting up, or is there a way to get closer to the screen just to confirm?
I do.
And can you identify her by an item of clothing?
She's wearing the black glasses.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
There's two wearing black glasses.
The female in black glasses.
Well, there's two females, officer. How about the shirt color? What color shirt was that person? Is a person wearing?
Her name's covering everything but her face.
I'm sorry?
Her name is covering everything but her face on the video.
No. His view is probably different than ours.
I think so.
What does it say for her name? Can you see that?
User's iPhone.
Okay.
Okay. No further questions, Judge.
Hey, officer, if I may, Judge, please.
Yes.
Officer, in your direct examination, you said that she passed the stop sign and you activated your emergency lights. What was the violation that you were stopped her for when you activated?
The traffic violation I stopped her for was stopping past the stop line. But
Okay.
I was also stopping her for the intoxicated person, attempt to locate.
Well, you didn't see any of the things that other witness described to you, did you?
I saw the slow driving and swerving.
Okay, and that would have been appeared on your video, would it not?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you know the judge has already seen that video, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the only incident, what you put your lights on for was that you didn't stop behind the line, correct?
That's the traffic violation. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Any other witnesses from the state?
No, Judge.
You rest.
Yes, Judge.
Does the defense have any witnesses?
Yes, Judge, I'd like to call Patricia Pyewaits under 104D for the limited purposes of this motion to suppress.
And y'all need your officer here. I mean, you can go back to work unless y'all want him to stick around.
We don't need them, Judge.
Thank you. You can go back to work. All right, let's go ahead and raise your right hand and be sworn. You swear or affirm testimony about to give, be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but truth, so help you God. You got to unmute. It's a little red button.
She's on an iPhone, Judge. I'm not sure what it looks like on that.
Probably real small.
Looks like we've got some help there.
It's called IT.
Yeah. Can you guys look, see if there's a button on your phone that says unmute or mute Triff? You might need to press around where your face is showing on the phone. Warren, can you see anything on there that has a little red microphone with a line crossed through it?
Okay, I think I got it. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
I'm so sorry.
All right.
It's all right.
When we left, we were swearing you in. I'm assuming you said you'd tell the truth.
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and state your name for the record.
Patricia Pewitz.
Okay, Patricia, you were operating that vehicle that was shown in the video. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've been present while the officer testified, correct?
Yes, sir.
And on the night in question, when you pulled up to that intersection, I believe it was Rio Grande and Cibolo Streets in Allen, Texas. Did you stop at that intersection?
I did, sir.
And did you stop in a place where you could see oncoming traffic from both directions?
Yes. It's a four-way stop, and there's a blind area at that intersection where a street parallels, and then you turn and you come to a stop sign. So I did pull forward in order to see that, get past that blind spot.
Okay, but you made a complete stop there, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you deemed it was safe to make a left turn there, is that correct?
Yes, sir. No other car.
All right, very good. Thank you. I will pass the witness.
Any questions?
Briefly, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am. So you were at that stop sign. Did you stop past the stop sign?
I did, sir, but I did
Okay.
come to a stop.
Okay. You know that that's a traffic violation to stop past the stop sign?
Well, I did have to see other traffic. I had to have a clear sight before I made the turn.
Okay. So you do know that that is a traffic violation?
I am aware of that. If my instructions are correct over the course of driving, years of driving.
Okay. Now you heard the officer's testimony and the dispatch 911 call he received the notes for and his observations. Were you committing other traffic violations that night before the stop sign?
No, sir.
Were you driving roughly 20 miles under the speed limit?
Sometimes I do. It's nighttime. Don't I don't drive very fast anyway. So
Okay. Whenever you got onto Comanche, were you driving in the middle of the road at any point?
on Comanche, that's a very short little road before it turns into Rio Grande. So it's only a one lane going in. If you know,
The
like I know the subdivision.
the 2-lane road right before the stop sign. I might have gotten the name of the road wrong, but that road right before the stop sign, were you driving in the middle of the road at any point then?
No, sir. I was on the right. It's a very wide street in that neighborhood.
Okay. And you weren't cutting drivers off or almost hitting them?
No, sir.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Any
Nothing
further questions?
nothing further, Judge.
You rest
Yes, sir.
and both sides close.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Any argument?
Briefly, Judge, there was reasonable suspicion for the stop, and that comes from multiple sources here. The 911 call itself gets us there. The notes, the dispatch notes that Officer Merle received informed that Ms. Piwitz was swerving, cutting other drivers off, going roughly 20 miles under the speed limit. And then when Officer Smurl catches up with the defendant, he confirms that it's the same car, sees her driving in the middle of the road, almost hitting a curb, and then parking past the stop sign, which the defendant has admitted to doing. She admitted to committing a traffic violation, which is enough for reasonable suspicion for a stop. The dash cam, Your Honor, I know you've seen before, if you notice when she stops at the stop sign, her back tire was aligned with the stop sign. That's how far past the stop sign she was. And for those reasons, we request that you deny the defendant's motion to suppress.
Any argument from the defense?
Yes, sir. Judge, the officer stated that the reason he made a traffic stop is because she failed to stop behind the stop sign. And that's when he activated his lights. And that's the only observable traffic violation that he stated. Texas Transportation Code, section 544.010, clearly states that if an intersection is not marked by a crosswalk or by a solid white line, that the operator of the vehicle has to stop to where they have a view of approaching traffic on the intersecting roadway. Ms. Piwitz testified that she pulled forward because of some trees that were out there and a blind spot in order to see the traffic both directions. She made a stop at a place where she could see approaching traffic, determined that it was safe to go ahead and turn left and then turn there. It was an appropriate stop. It's not a violation of the traffic code to stop beyond a stop sign. You have to stop solely where you can see oncoming traffic, and that's what she did. So there was no reasonable suspicion. Ask that you grant the motion to suppress. Thank you.
Final word from the state.
Your Honor, the officer gave multiple traffic violations that he observed and that he had a reasonable suspicion that were true from the dispatch notes. He was not giving a comprehensive list of why he made the stop, because there was a comprehensive list for why he did it. He didn't bring all those other violations up for no reason, that those were part of his thinking for pulling the defendant over. The defendant did admit to committing a traffic violation. I don't see any reason why you would need to go that far past a stop sign to see any oncoming traffic, especially at night when you would be able to see any traffic that would be coming from other directions.
Well, based on what I've heard in the evidence, I mean, I think even if we didn't have the stop sign involved, the officer had the right to stop her based on the 911 call, because the guy stuck around to be identified and followed her and was willing to testify, I guess, or provide evidence that she was doing what she was doing for the officer. I think one of the reasons he did state for his stopping her was that she was possibly intoxicated. So even if we took out the stop sign, I think he had a basis. He could have pulled her over immediately if he wanted to, but then add the stop sign in, and he certainly had another basis for stopping her. So I do deny the motion to suppress, and at some point we'll need to set the case for trial, but right now we're not setting trials because we don't know when we'll ever get to do another trial. So what we'll do is try to set it for a status at some point. How do you want to do it? I'm getting ready to give you a date that's going to be set for status. February 10th, 11th, or 12th. Hopefully by then we'll know more of what we're doing up here. Do you have a preference, Charlie?
I'm looking. Let's go with the 11th.
Okay. We'll put our status on that day, and on that day we'll kind of figure out where we are. Hopefully by March we might be trying cases again, but we just don't know. Okay.
Appreciate your time, Judge. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you all.